snakes and toads flee for their lives, along with some of the most venomous snakes on the planet. I've got a snake! Got a snake! It's a taipan! This is Australia's largest venomous snake. It's running from the flames just like everybody else here. But this is not the snake I've come all the way to Australia to find. The snake I'm looking for is much larger and much more elusive. Ever since I can remember, I've been interested in dangerous and exotic wildlife. But for the past 10 years or so, I've earned my living from photography. Traveling from my home in southern Africa to the ends of the earth to photograph some of the rarest and deadliest creatures in the world. Queensland, northeastern Australia, home to some of the most venomous snakes in the world. It's also home to Australia's biggest snake, the amethystine python. I'm heading into tropical rainforest in search of a remote valley I've heard about, where large numbers of these pythons are said to congregate. The interesting thing about these snakes in this valley, because of the short period of sunshine each day, they're actually forced to climb to the very tops of these giant forest trees where they bask in the sun. I've heard reports of enormous amethystine pythons, up to 20 feet long, being spotted at the top of the rainforest canopy. It's unusual to find such big snakes so high up, and I want to be one of the first people ever to get a photograph of them, taken at their level, high up in the trees. But the location is treacherous. I've heard stories of people getting into this valley and not being able to get out. Some people have actually died in this valley. So I'm going to take my chance, take my camera, see if I can get to the top of these trees, get these guys in their natural habitat. I'll take my chances and do my best. My journey started in Brisbane. I'm driving north, towards the rainforest that runs for some 300 miles, sandwiched between the coast and the great dividing range of mountains. The valley I'm heading for lies in the middle of this range, to the east of Mount Garnet. But before I enter the rainforest, I want to explore the arid land to the west, which is great snake country. However, to do this, I'm going to need a change of transport. The land to the west of the rainforest is known as the Atherton Tablelands. It's incredibly rugged terrain and teeming with wildlife. The best way to get across it and really see what's here is on horseback. Soon, I find myself crossing a flooded plain. It's unusual, but not impossible, to get freshwater crocodiles in this part of Queensland, so I've got to be careful. The water is so murky, it's impossible to see if there's anything down there until it breaks the surface. My horse is spooked by my leap, but I managed to hold on. Fortunately, my horse quickly settles.
I got him. Look at that. It's a water python. Australian water python. Oh, look at this. Isn't it fantastic? You know, in the whole of Africa, there's only 3 species of python. In the whole of Africa. And here in Australia alone, there's about a dozen species, each one more beautiful than the last. They're gorgeous snakes. Let's make sure this guy doesn't take a nip out of me. Okay, look at his tummy. Isn't that a beautiful coloring? He's got like a butter yellow underneath. Unbelievable markings. And if you look on the top, as the sun shines on his body, it gets that iridescent glow like a rainbow color. That's fantastic. Like all pythons, this guy's got teeth. He's got about 100 teeth. He's capable of a bite. And they're quite powerful constrictors. Will grab his prey, curl around it and squeeze it and swallow it down. But there's no venom apparatus. So it's not a snake to worry about. Even if he did bite you, it would be a painful wound, but nothing more to worry about. This guy seems pretty well behaved. He's quite happy for me to hold him like this. Just bring him really close. You can actually see his head and his tongue sticking out there. Oh, and it's fantastic. This guy's probably about a good average size, about 2 meters, but they get a bit bigger. You might get 2.5, 3 meters sometime. I would guess that's almost 2 meters. Beautiful snake. Probably a lot of them in this dam. Sometimes you find these guys in large congregations together in a dam like this. Waits on the side of the water, prey comes to the side, grabs it, swallows it down. They'll eat quite big animals too. This guy could eat something like a large rat with no problem at all. No problem at all. Okay, so I've disturbed him now and I've got the horse quite upset. So I think the best thing is just to release him back into the water because he's obviously quite at home over here. So we'll just see how it goes. Put him down and watch him swim away because they're very good swimmers. So I'll just release him. Off you go, boy. Off you go. Which way you want to go? There he goes. There he goes.
The amethystine python grows much larger than the water python, with one specimen recorded at 28 feet. And there's only a handful of snakes in the world that grow over 20 feet. But unlike heavier-bodied giant snakes, this one can climb. In the dark rainforests, sometimes the snake needs to go into the treetops in search of sunlight and the fruit bats, possums and rats that they prey on. This is a non-venomous snake. Once it has its prey, it constricts it until it suffocates. Like the water python, the amethystine has an iridescent sheen, created by a substance in its skin called guanin. Tiny crystals refract the light, giving the snake a beautiful violet color, just like the semi-precious quartz it takes its name from. This magical sheen gave the python an important place in the legends of the indigenous Aborigine people. They believe that a creature called the rainbow snake created the valley I'm searching for. But they also say that if the mythical serpent is disturbed, it will cause violent storms and a great flood. I have to hope that the Valley of the Snakes I'm here to find is more than just a myth, and that giant amethystine pythons really can be found high in its forest canopy. I'm in Queensland, looking for a valley of giant snakes, located somewhere deep in Australia's tropical rainforest. But the road to the valley's secret location is long and arduous. First I must cross the cattle lands. Every year, many farm animals fall victim to venomous snake bites. A stockman tells me that one of the biggest brown snakes he's ever seen has taken up residence in his barn and asks if I can help. It's most likely to be a king brown, a very deadly snake, often found in these parts. I head to the barn to find out.
What's the matter? What do you see? Tires are always something you've got to watch for. A snake can usually curl up right in a tail, behind all this old foliage and stuff. Gosh, there's stuff in here. You never know. Nothing in there. This is an ideal place, of course. Anything could be anywhere in here. There's so much old grass and stuff. I can actually see nests where mice and rats have been pulling grass in. I can't stick my hands in so easily. I don't actually see anything there. Wow! Look at this! Oh, look at the size of this. It looks like a king brown snake. It looks like a king brown. Wow. Yeah, just have. Look at this. I've got to be very careful because these snakes are really, really venomous. I got it. I got him. Wow. Wow. Look at the size of this guy. Oh, man. Look at the size of the snake. I didn't know they get this big. Look at this. He's ginormous. It's a king brown snake. I mean, it's one of the best known Australian snakes and probably one of the most feared as well. These snakes cause a lot of deaths in this country, especially amongst people's pets and livestock. It's a snake that you'll find all over the country, and you'll find it under any conditions. And a barn like this, a disused barn with plenty of places to hide, is perfect because he has rats and mice in here. And look at this guy. He's fat as a tick. Look at this. He's solid. He's been eating well, so he's obviously getting a lot of good food in here. It was the obvious place for a snake like this to be. I mean, there could be more in here. And he's trying to go back in there. I must be careful because sometimes you find 2 or 3 together. Just make sure. Oh, he's got himself right underneath there again. There we go. Look at that. Look at the size of his head, man. He's enormous. You know, these are one of the biggest elapids, one of the biggest front fang snakes you actually get in the world. An interesting thing about these snakes, like most of the Australian front fang snakes, they have a very powerful neurotoxic, a nerve-destroying poison. But these snakes are reputed to have incredibly powerful jaws with very large venom glands. And they're known to bite and actually hold on. Most snakes, especially elapids like cobras, mambas, whatever, will bite and release immediately. These guys are known to hold on and keep pumping venom. They have large muscles surrounding the venom glands. And if he holds on and keeps pumping, you can imagine, he can inject so much venom, makes it all that much more dangerous. He's really nice. You know what? Now I've got a flask that I carry with me that I'm very interested to see how much venom a snake like this would actually give off. Let me see if I can get to my flask. Okay. I think I should have it in here. Yeah. Now this flask is pretty small. I was expecting one of these Australian elapids to be a lot smaller than this. If I compare the head size there, I'd have to be very careful that he doesn't actually go and bite right over that flask and into my finger. Okay, let's just see if this is true, what they say about these snakes injecting so much venom. I'll just see if I'd rather take no chances and don't let him get close to me. He seems pretty placid. Oh, yeah, he's trying to come. Oops. Very careful. Got to get that head. Just got to get the head. There, they've got it. Okay. Wow, now he's a bit rattled. He didn't like that. He didn't like that at all, but I've got his head. Now you can see how big that head is. Look at it compared to my fingers. Oh, he's crossed now. He's crossed. You know, these snakes get mad. Sometimes they flatten their bodies out slightly and they go for you and they chase after you, almost like he's starting to become a cobra. Look at that. Now he's not very happy about this. So what I'm going to do is I have to get this body. He's twisting around quite a lot. Now I must be careful. He mustn't bite right over that. He must bite just into it. Let's see if we actually get venom going in here and how much. Will you bite? Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, there it's running down the side. There we are. You can see, oh, it's very thick, syrupy yellow. You can actually see that. Oh, he's given a good bite. He's given a good bite. That's a lot of venom. Oh, that's a lot of venom. I mean, you think this guy needs 1 drop of venom to kill an adult human being. And they hold on, like I said. Look at that. He doesn't let go. Now, a normal cobra or some other snakes would basically let go immediately. This guy's mad now. He says, I'm going to bite and kill this thing. Look at that. He's got a grip on it. He's not even letting go of the flask. I can just hold him with one hand. That's amazing. I've never seen anything like that in my life. He doesn't want to know. And he's curling around me here and he's letting me know. I mean, come on, let go. I've got to get you to let go. Got to push him a bit forward, maybe. There we go. Got it out. Wow. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? Dark honey-colored, much darker than the snakes that I'm used to in Africa and other places. Sometimes they're much lighter yellow venom, much lighter color. That's fabulous. Look, he's bitten a hole right on the top of that. Unbelievable. He's got a powerful bite. What a snake, man. All right, so he's got himself in a bit of a knot, and I'm going to have to let go of his head so that I can get rid of him now. I don't want his head near me now. He's really angry. So the same as I usually do, I'm going to just drop the head away from me. There we go. Okay, without touching the ground. That's it. Look at the size of him. Now you can get an idea of how big he actually is. Isn't that tremendous? That is a fabulous snake. A fantastic snake. Powerful body as well. Comes straight up, holds his own weight. See that? Don't hook around. If he hooks around like that, he can actually climb up. See that? You're going to do that for me? Watch him climb up. Climb up his own body, and that's a dangerous thing to do. All right, let me take him out. I'm going to let him go. You ready to go, boy? Let's then keep him away from me. Okay, off we go. Let him free. Out of this building.
For relocating the snake away from the farm, the head stockman lets me stay the night in the barn. It's winter in Australia, and the temperature here at night can fall to near freezing. But just as I'd got my campfire going, it began to rain. I check out the long-range weather forecast on my shortwave radio. It's not good news. I've been told that the steep valley I'm heading to floods when it rains. I remember the Aboriginal legend, disturb the great python and violent storms and floods will be its vengeance. My mission to photograph the giant amethystine python has turned into a race between me and the oncoming storm. Time is of the essence, but the terrain is so heavily wooded from here on in that I arranged to leave my horse at the last cattle farm I passed. A big storm is forecast to hit in just 48 hours. This will flood the valley and make it impossible to get into. To beat the weather and get my python photos, I'm going to have to call in some help. The Valley of the Snakes lies somewhere deep in the heart of Queensland's tropical rainforest. I can get there quicker by helicopter, but I'm still limited to where it's safe to land. Occasional open areas appear along the river's edge, but the rapids here are notoriously dangerous. Buffeted by the high winds of the approaching storm, the helicopter could easily be blown into the trees, but the pilot agrees to try and get me down. What I didn't expect was the downdraft from the rotors. In my search for snakes, I've traveled down some of the most dangerous stretches of water in the world, but that was the closest I had ever come to drowning. It made me all the more determined to be out of the valley before the storms hit. The helicopter has dropped me as close to my destination as it could, but judging by my position from Mount Garnet, I've still got many miles to go to where the Valley of the Snakes is said to be located. It's rugged terrain, so I've got to move fast if I'm going to make it. The Queensland rainforest is the wettest place in Australia, getting up to 10 feet of rain in a single year. The rivers here can cope with this daily downpour. But in really big storms, I've been warned that the valley will totally flood. I need to be out of here before then. But my progress is slow. In many places the banks are so steep I'm forced to walk in the river.
Look at that. It's a giant green tree frog. It's the biggest green tree frog that you get anywhere in the world. Some of the frogs in Australia stay in the water, others on land, others take to the trees. And there's about 50 different species of frogs in Australia. This is the giant tree frog, one of the best, something I've always wanted to see. And he's getting ready to jump. As soon as he settles himself and gets into that position, he wants to take off. And these guys have the ability to climb trees by these suckers that are on their feet. And I'm going to try and demonstrate that just now. I'll just show you. If you can see the feet, I'll try and take them in my hands. If he doesn't get too scared of me, I could actually pick him up and show you what those suckers look like. Okay, they're pretty gentle little creatures, and they're not too nervous if they realize they're not being hurt. And I can probably pick him up if he's not too worried about me. I'll just gently pick him up and put him on my hand, and maybe I can demonstrate these feet to you. There, look at that. He's actually putting his hands right out. See how clearly the suckers are displayed? It's like a little ET, this guy. See that? Look at those feet. Enormous little suckers, and he's got one on each toe, so you can imagine how well he can grip. He can actually hold on with one hand. He can climb up my finger, no problem at all. Look at this. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? No problem at all. Aren't you the most gorgeous thing? I would love to take some more pictures of you. Take some more pictures of you. Put him back on you. Isn't that a perfect pose? I would like to shoot another picture in real super close up. Okay, fantastic. See you next time, boy. Okay.
Sleeping out in the rainforest means sharing my camp with the resident wildlife. Like this giant whistling spider that crawls over my tent. No one really knows if the venom of this species is life-threatening to humans, but I'm not about to be the first to find out. And the whistling spider is not the only creature that comes to enjoy my campfire.
Look at this. Look at this. Oh, look what I've got here. It's a giant centipede. God, look at the size of it. I've got him. Everything in this valley seems to be gigantic in size. It's like everything's got plenty of food and they're doing well down here. They're isolated from the rest of the world. This is a venomous centipede. This guy can actually bite you and give you a nasty sting. Probably wouldn't kill an adult human being, but it's not something you want to get bitten by. Wow, right here in my camp as well. Look at him stretching out. Look at all those legs. Unbelievable creature this, but he's really big. All right, we'll let him go right here. He'll be on his way again. Off you go, boy. You'll be gone in a shot.
At first light, I set off again in search of the Valley of the Snakes. I have less than 24 hours left to get there, get my photographs, and get out again before the storm hits. I'm making good progress, but just as I start to feel a bit more positive, my journey is brought to a sudden halt. I'm in the Queensland rainforest, searching for a remote valley that I've heard is full of enormous snakes. I'm in a race against time. Big storms are forecast, which will flood the valley I'm looking for and make it impossible to reach. I've less than 24 hours left to find the valley, get my photographs of the giant amethystine python, and rendezvous back with the helicopter. And suddenly I'm faced with my biggest obstacle yet. There is only one way down, straight down the face of the waterfall. I estimate that it's about 300 feet to the bottom, but what I don't know is whether the sheer weight of the water will send me tumbling to the jagged rocks below. It takes me nearly 2 hours to get to the bottom. The muscles in my arms and shoulders are burning from the exertion, but after being pounded with water for so long, more than anything, I just want to dry out. I soon realize that's unlikely to happen. The heavy rains are beginning to slow me down, but I have to keep moving if I'm going to get my photos before the true storm arrives. The thought of finding a giant amethystine python keeps me going. In all my years of working with snakes, I've never known a snake so large to make its way up into the treetops. But like all snakes, amethystine pythons need the heat of the sun in order to be active. The steep sides of the valley and the low angle of the sun during the cold Queensland winters means there simply isn't enough sunlight on the forest floor. The amethystines are forced to scale dizzy heights in order to obtain maximum heat. Up in the treetops, narrow chinks of light break through the canopy and give the snakes much needed warmth. But to have any chance of finding and photographing giant amethystine pythons basking in the rainforest canopy, I need good weather. With the storm now just 10 short hours away, I search my shortwave radio for an update. But the news is even worse than I was expecting.
Cyclone watch issued by the Bureau of Meteorology has been cut off. This is a very big storm.
A cyclone will flood the Valley of the Snakes and stop me getting in or out. I need to get there before the big storm arrives and hope I have time to find the pythons. But the storm clouds are gathering. As I near my goal, the scenery is stunning. The mist gives the rainforest a magical feel, like walking through a giant cathedral. It's been years since I first heard rumors of the Valley of the Snakes. Years in which I've dreamt of coming here and imagined what the valley might look like. But as I emerge from the forest and see the Valley of the Snakes for the first time, it far surpasses my expectations. It's one of the most amazing views I've ever seen. Some of the pythons here look to be about 20 feet long. Unbelievable. I want to get a quick shot of one of these giants on the rocks before I try and find them in the treetops, but I have to get nearer. As I climb down, it starts to rain, making the rocks treacherous. These snakes aren't used to visitors, and my noisy approach on the wet rock starts to scare them off.
Oh man, I've clambered all over these rocks looking for these guys. They're already gone. They detected me coming down half a mile away. They've all headed off into the forest. I'm going to have to do the same. If I'm going to get a good photograph of these snakes, looks like I'm going to have to do it in the top of the trees.
But with the sky getting more overcast and only 6 hours left before the storm arrives, my chances of finding amethystines basking in the treetops are not good. Some of these trees are up to 3,000 years old, making them amongst the oldest living things on the planet. I have no idea how high these snakes will climb, but it's over 150 feet to the canopy. The rain slows me down, making my ropes and the trees dangerously slippery. Suddenly, I see something. It might be a snake, but it's on a high branch and not easy to get to. My safety rope holds and I'm not injured. But in my race to beat the storm, I'm getting careless. The harness might not save me if I slip up again, so I've got to stay alert.
Gosh, not a sign of anything. You know, it's about the 6th tree I've climbed, maybe even more. And the weather's closed in on me and it's wet and it makes it even more difficult to climb. Oh man, and I'm sure, I almost thought for certain I saw something up here. And I've been looking up every tree and it's so hard to get up each time, really. It's just tiring work. I'm sure there are snakes up here somewhere, but I mean, there's so much jungle. Can you imagine? It's like the proverbial needle in a haystack. And here comes more rain.
With the storm fast approaching, I'm running out of time.
The equator, an extraordinary and powerful force of nature. 3 continents, 3 oceans, from desert to rainforest, from the beautiful to the bizarre. These extreme conditions have shaped more than half of the world's species. Equator, Sundays on Animal Planet. This program brought to you by Honda, the power of dreams. In a desolate, unforgiving world, ruled by betrayal and insurrection, there exists one gang whose loyalty is legendary. Your favorite colony of meerkats is back. Meerkat Manitou. An epic tale of conflict, forbidden love, deadly intruders. Every one of them must stand up and be counted. Wednesdays, only on Animal Planet.
Mate, I've probably faced more crocodiles than Tarzan, I reckon. And the big thing is what goes through my head. What? Oh, I guess it's because I'm so full of adrenaline and I am so focused on the croc. I'm watching every move, every flick of the eye, every twitch of the toenail, absolutely everything before I go in. Once you've actually got them, then the thought processes kick in. Hang on for your life. Juggle, get this hand over there, get it under there, go for the jaws, get on top. You're actually thinking how to stay in front. It's like a jiu-jitsu maneuver the whole way through. You're just constantly vying for a posture and a position, a wrestle hold to hang on to them, to manipulate so as you don't get torn up or your friends or colleagues get ripped up. It's a tough one, mate. Don't try this at home.
Finally found the Valley of the Snakes, and I'm in the treetops searching for giant amethystine pythons. But I've got less than 4 hours to go before an enormous storm is due to arrive. When the storm breaks, this valley will flood, and I could get trapped here. The clock is ticking and I'm getting tired. I'm about to abandon my climb when the sun comes out and gives me a glimmer of hope. Suddenly, I spot something in the outer branches.
I think I see a snake. I just got to find out if I can get to it.
As I edge nearer, I can hardly believe my eyes. A giant amethystine python is only a few feet away. I've never had to deal with such a big snake so high up, but I have to get my photos.
I've got him. I've got him. Man, he's big. That's the biggest amethystine I've ever seen, but I'll have to come lower. I cannot get him out the tree like this. Man, he's strong. He's incredibly strong, and he keeps knotting himself in the tree. There, I got it. I got it. Almost got it. And he's being really tight around my throat as well. God, they're strong. It's a slender snake. They're climbing snakes. If it were an Indian or an African python, he'd be a lot heavier in body, but these guys are climbers. So they are much more slender, but to make up for that, they've got 3 times the muscle. I can't let him close my windpipe. Okay, there, that's better. Wow, it's a matter of ropes and cameras and stuff, but there he is. I actually got him at last after all this time. I mean, I've climbed about 100 trees to find one of these guys. And look at him. Look how the tail keeps grabbing onto me. There's just no way to get him loose, actually, once he's got you. Let me try. I can't talk properly while he's around me like this. I'm going to have to let go of the head and hope he doesn't bite. And just see if I can open him up a bit. There we go. Wow. Look at that boy. Isn't he gorgeous? They are fantastic snakes. Amethystine python. These are the biggest pythons that you get in Australia. And they've been recorded up to something like 28 foot. But these days, I don't think you'd be able to find one maybe more than 18 foot if you're lucky. And I'm guessing this guy, if I stretch him out, might make 14, which is pretty big. But he's constricting my hand. Look at that. Look how he's tied my hand. Can you see that? I can't even close my hand because of the blood pressure. They're so incredibly powerful, these snakes. I have to just get him off there. Look at that. Don't bite me. He's been pretty well behaved otherwise. But obviously he's clinging on to everything he can. I'll just get my hand out of there. Usually a snake this size should be on the ground. I mean, the stuff they feed on is quite big. This guy can eat wallabies and stuff like that. He can eat something the size of your pet dog. No problem at all. But the reason he's up in this tree is looking for warmth. Oh golly, I've got to get this guy off my neck. He's knotted in the back, and if I don't get him loose, he will strangle me. That's for sure. Just let me get him out of here. Okay, that's a frightening position, let me tell you. Because he knots at the back and he's pulling across here. There's nothing you can do, and I'm way up in this tree. I've got to get him loose. I can't see where he's knotted. Okay, I've got to put my strength in here. Oh, that's a bit hairy. If that happened up here, I'd be in real trouble. All right. Now the thing is, I'd like to get some pictures of this guy after all this trouble, after all this time climbing these trees. And I need to take some pictures. And the way to do that is if I can get him to just balance on this tree over here. Look at that. Isn't that incredible strength? Look at the strength. He can just hold his body straight out. See that? Holds his body straight out. But let me put him around this branch and put him back up here. There we go. He's really been good otherwise. He hasn't tried to bite me. Whoa. Having said that, just be careful because they are known to be quite bitey. Hey, what, boy? You okay? Yeah. Okay. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? Oh, he's really nice. Look, he's flicking his tongue. There we go. My first picture. After all these tree climbing days, my first picture. Okay. And back he comes. There we go. That's what I want. Ah. Slight lunge. He's a little bit upset now. Just wanting to get hold of me. Just wanting to get hold of me. Just wants to get on his way. Doesn't want me to mess around with anymore. He says, I've done all the things I want to do. I don't want to come too close because he's going to bite onto the camera for sure. But he's got such a perfect chance for a picture. Look at that shot. Straight into his face. Isn't that incredible? You okay now? Yeah, well, he's calmed down a little bit. As long as he calms. Oops, still a little bit upset. Oh, no, hang on. Just a little bit upset. Mustn't let him bite you. Definitely all the pythons give you a nasty bite. No venom apparatus here, but a nasty bite. Not something you want to get bitten by. Fantastic shot. That's perfect, absolutely perfect. Wow, what a boy. Hey, no. Go on, bring your head up, bring your head up. He's actually threatening to strike. He's had a bit enough of me now. I've got no problem with you. If I fool around with him, gonna let me have it, hey? I can see that, yeah? Absolutely incredible. Couldn't ask for anything more than that. This is the way to take pictures, right up here in the trees. And back he comes, there we go. That's what I want. Hang back, there he goes, right up the tree, like a shot. See how fast he climbs. Look how easily he does that. Incredible. This guy can really move. He's got fantastic power. Let's see if I can get to his tail. The tail is so prehensile, it winds around anything and grips onto anything that it touches with no effort at all. See that? Always making a knot. Whatever you do, he makes a knot automatically. So he hangs on to anything. Even if the whole snake's body dropped out of the tree, he could hang on that, just like that. It's fantastic. Look at that perfect knot there. See that? Unbelievable. They are so well designed. Okay, and then for climbing, typical fashion, you see how he coils up the body in sections, pushes the head forward, and then brings the next coil up and then pushes forward again. You'll see how he does that very easily. See the curves he has here and the next curve coming here? From there you just push forward and keep going. He doesn't have to stop. He could go vertically up a tree, right up a tree like that if he needed to. Are you okay? So what I'm going to do, I'll just give him a little tickle. See, tickle him a little bit, and he gets the feeling that it's time to go. Watch him. Watch his movements. Unbelievable. Just tickle him a bit and let him go. Wow. Question is now, can I get down from here and can I get out of here?
If I move fast, I should still be able to make the rendezvous with the helicopter and escape before the storm arrives. I've been incredibly lucky. I fulfilled one of my greatest ambitions. I found the hidden valley of the snakes, and high above the ground, I confronted a giant, unlike any I've ever seen before. I found the giant amethystine and got my pictures. I won't forget this journey for a long, long time.